familiar with the term holistic medicine and the alternative approach. Today we're going to see this applied within the garden. Paddy and Maria Rawlings are very definite about what they want from their garden. As you can see, the work is well underway, so I'm off to find out what this is all about. What do you like about your garden?
Well, I like the size of the garden, and I particularly like the herbs that we planted in the garden. I brought them from my own house, and we dug a big hole and planted the herbs for the cooking, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm a brilliant cook, and
so they're definitely staying
and they're
anyway.
the secret ingredient, yes, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably have to move them around within the garden.
That's
anyway.
absolutely fine.
So Paddy, what areas did you like within the garden?
I like the space in it. I mean, as Maria says, I like the shape of the garden, and I like my shed.
Sean, will you talk us through your design?
Well, we wanted to reflect some of the internal qualities of the house, like in colour, texture and sound, and carry that through into the garden. We're extending from the house with a path, and this will lead down to a focal point, which is going to be a very beautiful dry stone wall. And beside that, we're actually making a very prominent wooden sculpture that will be hand carved on the day. Beside that, then, we're doing a small water feature that will reflect again the cycles and the qualities of nature. And the overall composition is going to be quite free-flowing and quite balanced and open-looking. So, and that's our eternal aim.
It's a most unusual day. Feel like throwing my worries away. As an old native-born Californian would say, it's a most unusual day.
Basically, this is a sandstone, and the way I'm laying it at the moment is sort of gives the effect of like a dry stone wall. And what I'm doing is I'm keeping all the mortar back, so it's not visible when I put the next stone on top. With garden features and installations and things like that, I suppose then it becomes more of an art in itself. But I don't know, it's lovely to look at in any form.
We're using the holistic approach here today, and what that means is that we're using the 5 elements to design and build this garden. The 5 elements being the wood, the fire, earth, metal and water. These 5 elements are in different segments of the garden, and they give the overall composition and template to the garden.
You better loosen up, chum. Your drum is apt to snap and go boom, boom. And when you go, they'll take your dough.
For the taxi room.
Relax.
Covering about an inch and a half late.
Get your sneakers and slacks, relax.
Brian, this is very interesting. What's this all about?
Well, we're making a water sculpture here. It's made out of slate, but the water comes right through it and filters down back to the earth. And we're also making a larger sculpture here. The idea is that the 2 large pieces are floating together just off each other, and we get shards of light through it at certain times of the day.
These are the plants from Maria's existing herb garden. We're going to relocate them around the garden in various areas. The normal time for moving plants in a garden is between November and March, which is the dormant period. But as you can see, these are relatively young, I'd say about 2 years in the ground. So the one thing to notice, you must keep them well watered after moving and add in some compost when you're replanting them. As you can see, they're the shallow rooters, so they don't have a huge root ball, but still take as much as you can and move them around.
I thought it actually would have darkened down much more. I mean, that was the plan, you know, but it doesn't seem to have.
I prefer to leave it now. Let's cover it up, will we? So nobody sees it.
I don't know, we better do something.
Anybody know it?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we seem to have a bit of a problem in relation to our blue. I mean, the concept was to bring a lot of colour and vibrancy to the garden, and we're finding now that it's maybe a little bit too warm. So we've basically killed the blue.
There are people meeting people. There is sunshine everywhere. There are people greeting people, and the feeling of spring in the air. It's a most unusual time. I keep feeling my temperature climb. If my heart won't be
Not bad.
Well, Marie, happy with the progress so far?
I'm absolutely delighted with it. It's wonderful, and I particularly like the wild garlic that you put in there. It reminds me of my days in the woods. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and there's lots more new herbs you brought in there as well. You were asking about feverfew earlier. I believe that's good for headaches, is it?
That's right. I think you just make a tea out of it, and well, I'll let you know how it works.
Well, this feels like going around in circles. We're actually getting there.
Nearly there. I'm off for a chamomile tea. This garden has a rich sensory experience. There's touch, sight, sound and smell. Touch, the feel of the fern tree, though you can't do this with your gardening gloves on. Touch the hard surfaces, the different feeling of all the different plants used. Smell the aromatic foliage of the rosemary in the garden. And the sound in this garden will come from the water feature and the wind chimes. And then you have sight. The whole garden in itself is a sight, but the main focal point is the wood sculpture here. So Paddy, what's your favourite area in the garden?
I think it has to be the piece of sculpture down at the back there.
The wood, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's just not what I expected, and I just think it's an extraordinary piece of art to have in your garden.
I like all the new herbs that are in the garden, ones I've never tried before. I'm looking forward to inventing some new dishes with them.
I just think the overall thing is great, and it's extraordinary that we've, Sean and his team have managed to do this and to transform a place in such an extraordinary way. And it has a little piece of magic in it.
Yeah.
A little bit of heaven here.
Yeah, it looks very mature.
Yeah.